Hey everyone, this is Alana with FidgetHaven Reviews, and today I'm going to be reviewing the Loophole by Alex Gaydon at Premium Spinners. They're currently sold for $53.99. Let me start off by saying that the Loophole is a fantastic ring spinner. I have both of the currently available versions, and I absolutely cannot wait to get more once they're released. One is made of stainless steel, and it features 4 notches and female knurling along the outside. The other is made of brass, and it has no notches, and also features the same female knurling along the outside. Both use a stainless steel SR 1232 bearing, though one comes shielded and one does not. The stainless Loophole has stainless steel buttons to go with it, and the brass one has brass buttons to go with it. The stainless steel one weighs 37.8 grams without buttons and 80.1 grams with buttons. The brass one weighs in at 46.9 grams without buttons and 92.8 grams with buttons. Both have a diameter of 1.5 inches. Both spinners have a machine finish. The outside has been decorated with this really cool and unique looking female knurling that I just haven't seen anywhere else. I find that it gives it a really nice grippy texture. The stainless steel one has 4 notches in the outer portion, and I find that the notches create really cool breaks in the knurling. They also have a machine finish. They provide nice little nooks for easy catching and releasing, both when used on the finger and with the buttons. I find that they add some good fidgetability to it. The brass one has no notches and is a bit more challenging to spin for long periods of time. I find that the continuous knurling on it can cause some slight sensitivity on the fingers that I use to spin it with when on my finger. It's a bit more challenging than the notch version in general to spin even with the buttons, but I haven't noted any additional sensitivity. I find the Loophole to be incredibly versatile. They can be used in several different ways. The most common way to spin it is on the finger. It seems to be the consensus that ring spinners are more enjoyably used that way, and I would most definitely agree with that sentiment. There are so many comfortable ways to spin it on a finger that I won't list them all, but I will say that I most often use it on my index finger and rapidly switch directions back and forth using my thumb and middle finger. The second way would be by using the buttons and spinning it like a traditional mini spinner. I find that the one with the notches makes using the buttons a little bit more enjoyable than the round, as it is easier to find a place to grip and spin it from. To be honest though, I very rarely use the buttons, and I mostly only use them for reviewing purposes to be able to give you guys the whole picture. I genuinely don't know that I'm going to be using it with buttons again once my review is completely over. The third way I stumbled upon while playing with my fiddle balls, which is another fidget that I recently received and will eventually be reviewing. You can use the Loophole with a 19mm ball, which is 3/4 of an inch, and turn it into a top. I can get it to spin for more than 5.5 minutes this way. As I've recently gotten into precision tops, it does make me extra happy that I can use it like a top. The buttons for the Loophole are unique. Of the currently available ring spinners, the Loophole and its unnamed alternative siblings are the only ones that offer a button option. To be fair, the Feg V Air, and I very well could be butchering that name, does come with buttons, but the spinner needs to be fully transformed with its alternate bearing core to be able to use them. Makers have previously opted to use a slug instead of buttons, and you can check out my review of the Gen X1 for more information on how slugs function. Both the stainless steel and the brass buttons are the same. The only cosmetic exception, aside from the material, is that the stainless Loophole buttons have the serial number on them instead of the spinner the way that the round does. Future runs are going to have them on the spinner instead of the buttons. They're threaded using a very small set screw. The screw could stand to be longer, and Alex has mentioned implementing them in the future. Though it's also worth noting that the button design is probably going to get a complete overhaul in the future. They have a nice large diameter of 25mm. The center is mildly concave and then steps up slightly towards the edges to form a raised lip. The buttons were designed to be smooth and soothing like a worry stone, and I do think that it hits that mark pretty well. I wouldn't mind seeing the raised lip made a little bit more narrow to increase the area of the smooth part, but it does work well as it is. The concave center is very smooth and slippery, but the lip does do a good job at increasing the grippiness. There's a small bit of decorative knurling on the sides of the buttons, and I truly like the aesthetic of it. The buttons are quite heavy. The stainless steel ones weigh in at 42.4 grams on my scale, and the brass ones weigh in at 45.6 grams on my scale. I would prefer them to be lighter as they both weigh more than the spinners themselves, and I know that I'm not the only person who feels that way. Weight is one of the reasons that Alex is considering redesigning them, so I look forward to seeing how they evolve. It's likely safe to say that most of you who purchase the Loophole will be using it without the buttons, because it truly shines when it's spun on your finger. The bearings used are stainless steel SR 1232s, and they're held in place using adhesive. As I mentioned earlier, one of the bearings is shielded and the other one is not. Originally, the bearings chosen were these unshielded ones. Alex decided to give the shielded bearings a try, and we tested them against each other fairly extensively. Ultimately, the shielded bearings won out, and future drops will have them instead of the unshielded ones. I find that the bearings both sound and feel different from each other. The shielded bearing is quieter, and I find that it has more substantial vibration feedback when spun on a finger. The vibration is relatively minor, but it's enough that you know that it's spinning. I don't feel like the unshielded one has nearly as much vibration feedback, and I often can't tell that it's spinning when spun on a finger, aside from the noise that it makes. I think that the lack of notches on the spinner could at least partially be responsible for the minimized vibrations, as it is more aerodynamic. When the buttons are used, both of them have increased feedback, but it is a minimal increase. The brass has a slight song to it, but the stainless doesn't. You can easily hear the balls spinning around in the races in both bearings, though, as I mentioned, the shielded one is quieter. I usually do spin time tests right when I receive each spinner. Unfortunately, I didn't end up doing it with these because I was just so excited to use them, and because of that, I feel like my spin time tests on the stainless steel Loophole with shielded bearings is somewhat skewed. The reason for that is because I prefer the bearing to be oiled, and even though I cleaned it fairly thoroughly before doing my spin time tests, I still felt like there must have been some slight residue left behind. Ring spinners aren't meant for long spin times due to the size of the bearing and the distribution of mass. I tested both by doing two-handed table spins with the button and two-handed spins vertically on a finger. The stainless steel one with 4 notches and shielded bearings averages 43 seconds on the button and 39 seconds vertically on a finger. The brass one with no notches and unshielded bearings averages 2 minutes and 17 seconds on the button and 1 minute and 34 seconds vertically on a finger. Now, there are several factors on why spin times might be so different, so do please keep that in mind. I only end up spinning them for 5 to 10 seconds before spinning again, so truly the spin times are more than adequate for me. The bearings for the Loophole are significantly larger than the ones found on other ring spinners. It has an ID of 3/4 of an inch or 19 millimeters. Now, I worried about it at first, but I have come to greatly appreciate the size. It fits on my fingers like a ring, and the size allows me to push it down to the base of my finger and still be able to use it while driving or typing. I feel like it's safer than other spinners to use while driving, and I know that many of us do, as it does allow you to keep both hands on the wheel at all times. There's no worry about dropping it or getting it lost between the car seats either. While on paper it might not seem like something to gush about, but I can tell you that once you experience the hands-free freedom, you will understand how awesome it is. For those of you who aren't sold yet on the size of the bearing, I know that Alex is working on making reducers in multiple sizes to quickly and easily customize the size to your liking. Overall, I absolutely love these spinners, and I implore you to get one if you have the opportunity. Alex totally hit it out of the park with this design, and it very, very quickly became my absolute favorite spinner. It's going to take something really, truly special to knock it down off of its pedestal. I intend on collecting all of the style variants which are set to come out, and that's truly saying something for me. As of this review, my favorite, as I'm sure you can guess, is the 4-notch in stainless steel with shielded bearings. I prefer the overall sound, feel, and feedback of it. Both are absolutely fantastic though. I genuinely can't think of a single negative thing to say about these spinners. They're comfortable, highly fidgety, they have pleasing sounds, they're incredibly versatile, they're extremely, extremely well priced, entirely made and assembled in America as well. It's perfect for both concentration or distraction, whether it's used with or without the buttons. Alex has been wonderful to talk to. His customer service is top-notch, and his care for his work and customer truly shows. I hope that you'll check his work out. Once again, this is the Loophole Spinner by Alex Gaydon at Premium Spinners. I am Alana with FidgetHaven Reviews. If you have any questions whatsoever, please don't hesitate to post them in the comment section below. I will be posting a link to both the store where you can purchase these and to my written review in the description below, so I hope that you'll check that out. I'm not going to be doing spin time tests today because, as I just said, they vary so widely, and I don't really feel like unoiling my bearing here because it's pretty awesome just as it is. Anyhow, I hope that this was helpful to you and that you found something useful in it. I really, really, truly, greatly appreciate you watching it, and I hope that all of you have a fantastic day.